The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. It seems I still have one more story to tell from 1965. We were pretty shaken by the events of the previous months. That we had lost so many friends was a bitter pill to swallow. However, we knew they wouldn't want us to wallow in grief. They'd expect us to persevere, and that's exactly what we did. Oh, there were times the melancholy became too much. When that happened, we would talk about it with each other or our new fire and rescue chief. Yes, Derek was appointed to the position after Mickey died. Like his predecessor, he responded swiftly to emergencies and provided counseling when necessary. Needless to say, he was kept very busy. In addition to his regular duties, he also oversaw the reconstruction of Brendam Docks. Shortly after that was completed, the Class 17 had to help Henry with a very serious issue. What happened? I don't know. One moment I was backing down towards the Kipper when all of a sudden I stopped. Did you break down? No, I just froze. I can't understand it. Typical this would happen now. What do you mean? Sir Topham told me the client is thinking about cancelling their contract. They lost a lot of money when me and Jeffrey crashed. And is this the first time you've taken the Kipper since your accident? Yes. Then it's perfectly normal you'd be scared. Except I didn't have this problem after my crash back in 38. You didn't? No. After I was repaired, I went right back to pulling the Kipper like nothing ever happened. Does that make me a monster? Of course not. Why would it? Because a man died that time, and you nearly died this time. Like I said, it's normal you'd be afraid of something that reminds you of that. Then what should I do? Perhaps you could try shunting the Kipper for the others. In a controlled environment like the yard, you could rebuild your confidence and work towards taking it again. What do you think? Sounds like a good idea. All right, we'll try it tomorrow. Will do. Thanks, Chief. Chief, it's still strange hearing that. Deja vu. Tell me about it. My valve gear jammed again. At least nobody died this time. Donald, it's alright, Derek. I don't blame myself. Just making an observation. Well, if you need to talk, thank you, Chief. In a way, I'm glad I'm here. I need to have a word with Rob. Take any word you want, it's yours. How about sorry? For what? For accusing you of your brother's crimes. I realized this morning I didn't apologize for that. Or your father. I'm so sorry. It's all right, Donald. It wasn't your fault. I've known the details of that crash for a very long time. As for accusing me of what Sean did, I can't say I blame you. Do you have any idea why he acted the way he did? He was always so troubled. He got worse after he found our mother's body. And when we went to live with our uncle, let's just say he picked up too many bad habits from that drunk. How do you feel about all that? Guilty. Maybe if I tried to help him more, none of this would have happened. But when I went to work for BR, he punched me in the face. That was when I cut him off. You did the right thing. You had to take care of yourself. Even so, well, I'm here for you too. We all are. Thank you, lads. I think I'll be all right. Anyway, let's get this valve gear sorted. And Derek, you wanted me to remind you to visit the Farquhar branch today. Oh, right. Thank you, Rob. Is this because of Percy? I heard he's been a little upset lately. That may be putting it mildly. Deja vu. Let's hope not. I'm sure Mavis doesn't fancy flying down the line again. Neither do I. Oh, bog off, you two. All right, Percy, that's enough. Ever since we got back, you've been acting like a pillock. What's wrong? What's wrong? Have you gone senile or something? Thomas is dead. I'm painfully aware of that, but getting angry won't bring him back. It makes me feel better, and I wouldn't be so angry if you hadn't. What? If I hadn't what? Nothing. No, tell me, what did I... I'm sorry, I was startled. This is the third time that's happened since we got back. Is this true, Percy? So what if it is? I'm not allowed to be startled? Of course you are. Is there a particular reason? No. All right, let's leave this aside for the moment. Would you like to talk about the argument you had with that new postman the other day? How do you know about that? Has Terence been gossiping again, or was it Grandad over there? Grandad? Percy, there's no need for name-calling. I gather it was the postman's name that set you off. Mr. Thomas Tipper? I thought he was having me on. I overreacted and I said I was sorry. Well, it's clear Thomas's death is still bothering you. Of course it fucking is. Why wouldn't it? Then it's important we work through it. That's why I'm here, to help you. Like you did at Brendam. Ha! That's a laugh. You're completely useless. You and the henhouse over there. What did I do? Same thing as Derek. Nothing. Why they made you chief is beyond me. Clearly we have a lot to talk about. I don't want to talk about it with anyone. I'm going back to work. Goodbye. I'm sure he didn't mean it. I'm sure he did. He's not entirely wrong. If anybody let the side down that night, it was me. At least you were there. I'm sure you would have been more useful than I was. Why did they make me Chief, Terence? It can't be because of experience. You beat me on that front, but I'm not exactly built for speed. So did they pick me out of convenience? No, they picked you because Mickey made it clear he wanted you to take his place someday. He did? Oh yes, he knew you were up to the task. That's a matter of opinion. I don't seem to be having much luck with Percy. Remember what Mickey used to say? You can't help someone who won't help themselves. And I never really agreed with that. If someone is hurting, shouldn't we do everything in our power to help them? Yes, but if you push too hard, they could shut down entirely. Or worse, they could come to permanently resent you. Just give Percy some time. I'm sure he'll come around. And if he doesn't, we'll respond accordingly. In the meantime, I suggest we focus on Henry. Your idea sounds like a good one, only if it works. I'm sorry about that, Henry. Me too. It's so embarrassing. I went up against the might of the Third Reich, no worries, but a couple of fish fans has me cowering in fear. I was so sure Derek's idea would work. Oh, what a surprise. The failures idea failed. Bust my buffers. Percy has become a horrid sort, hasn't he, Annie? Oh yes, Clarabelle. He's dreadfully rude. I feel quite ashamed. So am I. Really, Henry? You too? What do you expect? I heard you've been acting like a pillock. I know you're angry about Thomas, but... Shh! Keep your voice down! What for? The passengers! This is a rail tour after all. Percy, Thomas's death made national headlines. I'm sure they know. But maybe the children don't. So what are you going to do if they ask about him? Lie? If I have to, well, here's your chance. Hello there, I'm Percy. What's your name? Hank? Where's Thomas? Doesn't he pull Annie and Clarabelle? Yes, he does, but he's... It's a miracle nobody was hurt, but you can be sure they demanded their money back. Spare me, Toby. Sir Topham already gave me an earful, and whatever you have to say, Derek, you are going to listen to. I was prepared to wait and see if you would come around, but not anymore. For your safety and everyone else's, we need to bust my buffers. Go away! Who are you talking to? No one! Percy, have you been seeing Thomas? No? You have, haven't you? Bloody hell. Why didn't you say anything? Because I know he's not real. It's all in my head. What does he do? Nothing. He just stands there. And I blame you two for this. What did we do? I wanted to help Thomas, but you told me to stay. We had to contain the fire. It was contained, Toby. And when the Krakatoa sank, it went out completely. I couldn't have known she'd keel over right then. Neither could you. Well, maybe you could have gone to help Thomas if you hadn't been covering for Derek. I didn't force my motor to fail. It just did. Believe me, I wish I could have done more that night. I'm sure we all do, but we did our best. If that was true, nobody would have died, least of all your best friend. Exactly. Why did he have to die? Mickey used to say when it comes to tragedy, you should never ask why. You'll drive yourself mad trying to come up with an answer. Then what can I do? What you're doing now. Talk about it with those who care. I'm sure Toby does. Absolutely. I know how you feel, Percy. I'm devastated about Thomas too. I knew him for a very long time, and I know he wouldn't want us arguing about his death. You're right. You wouldn't, would you? Bust my buffers. I'm talking to an illusion. I've completely lost the plot, haven't I? Then let's help you find it again. I'll be seeing them again tomorrow. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think they'll be all right. I'm sure they will too. Well done, Chief. I knew you could do it. Half do it anyway. My idea for Henry didn't work. Maybe we need to try a different approach. Or maybe I need to learn more about his first accident with the Kipper. You were around for that, weren't you? Is it true he didn't have any problems taking it after he was repaired? Yes. In fact, he was eager to get back to it. How did he feel about Mr. Creedy's death? He was devastated, but not so devastated he wouldn't take it. He was devoted. Now that I think about it, almost everything that's happened this year can be traced back to that crash. Maybe he's feeling guilty about all of that. If that's the case, I know just the man who can help. Morning, Rob. What are you doing here? Derek asked me to come along. Why? Because I think it's time you two had a talk. I gather you haven't actually spoken about the accident that killed Rob's father. Bust my buffers. You're right. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry. It's all right, Henry. I don't blame you or anyone else for what happened. You don't? How? It's because of me you ended up with your uncle. It's because of me your brother came after us. No, it isn't. All of that happened because of bad weather and bad luck. It wasn't your fault. I forgive you. Oh, thank you, Rob. You have no idea how much that means to me. You're a good man. I'm sure you take after your father. Did you know him? No, I didn't. Maybe that's why you didn't have any problems taking the Kipper afterwards, because the victim wasn't known to you. That doesn't make it any less tragic, but the death of a stranger is bound to impact you less than that of a friend. And Jeffrey was your friend, wasn't he? He was. And I remember what you said after he died. Do you really think it should have been you? I don't know. God, I'm a mess, aren't I? That's why I'm here, to help you through it. But before we talk, would you mind fetching the Kipper? Sure thing. Derek, you're a genius. I know. I'm pleased to say this triumph restored Henry's confidence, enabling him to once again take his favorite train. Unfortunately, it would only be for a short time. While the client wouldn't cancel their contract, they also wouldn't renew it at the end of the season, and so the Flying Kipper was decommissioned. Henry was able to take it out one final time, ensuring the service ended on an extremely high note. Derek was able to help Toby and Percy by mending the rift between them, and after a lot of work, our number 6 stopped having hallucinations. He also made amends with everyone he offended and returned to being his really useful self. As an aside, he and the rest of the Farquhar engines would tell anyone who visited their line the truth about Thomas, not to be morbid, but to ensure his heroism was remembered. The rest of the year passed without incident. Needless to say, we were very happy to see it end, though I'd be lying if I said the new one didn't have its own problems. But that is a story for another day.